Hello, I'm Devin, integrative health expert, Ayurvedic health advisor, and holistic coach. Welcome to InnerSpark Living from Your True Nature podcast. This is a resource for those ready to gently, naturally, and sustainably restore their energy, their clarity, their health, and their wholeness. Each episode offers grounded, practical guidance and soul deep insight drawn from nature's wisdom, integrative health, and the timeless principles of Ayurveda. Together, we explore real, sustainable self care, healing from the root and how to actually get there, and dissolving the inner barriers that keep you unwell, depleted, and stuck in survival mode. This is an invitation back home to yourself. And now for today's episode. Hello, welcome back. Today, we're exploring nourishment beyond nutrition and how to really, actually, truly, finally, sustainably feel well. Many clients come to me because they feel that they have a challenging time nourishing themselves. That's something that I hear quite often. They feel confused, overwhelmed, and like despite their best efforts and trying different things and the trends and the stuff, that something is still missing. And additionally, most of them are really hyper focused on the food, and I totally get that. I was there once also, and I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. But that's really kind of what we're taught, and that's what our culture talks about. Yeah. So if you have X problem, then it's a food problem. And so we need to focus on the food. And we have all the new diets and trends and tests and this and that and the other. So it would make sense that most people think then that nourishment starts with what's on their plate. And while, yes, that is so important, true nourishment goes so much deeper than that. So let's talk about nourishment. I love that word, nourishment. What does it mean to you to be nourished? The good old dictionary definition is this: the food or other substances necessary for growth, health, and good condition. So, the food or other substances necessary for growth, health, and good condition. So, I invite you to consider that nourishment is way beyond food and that everything, in essence, is food in either a literal or, a metaphorical sense, of course. Every input that you receive is either feeding your resilience, your vitality, your clarity, your joy, or it's robbing you of it. That simple. So I invite you, I'm going to plant the seed now of the principle of cause and effect. So if this, then this. When I do this, this happens, right? So every input that you receive is either feeding your resilience, vitality, clarity, and joy, or robbing you of it. And I really love inviting people to think about things through this lens of cause and effect because it helps us to kind of de-escalate the situation. It gets us out of judging ourselves and out of thinking a lot and out of emotions, right? Like, oh, I was bad because I did this, or I was good because I had the carrots and not the cake. Like, forget any of that. Just looking at if this, then this. So when I eat that, I feel like this. If I want to keep feeling like that, then good. Eat more of that. If I don't, maybe I can put a different input in and get a different output. So food is everything that we're taking in, not just what goes in our mouths. If we are receiving poor quality input, we'll experience poor quality output, like I just said, with cause and effect. That could be things like low energy, health issues of all kinds, everything. mental health issues, emotional upset, and the like. A really important thing to remember is that you may eat the things, literally or figuratively, as in the food, but also eating the sounds, the sights, the interactions with others, etc. So these all have the capacity to nourish or deplete you. However, more important than that is how are you digesting these things? How are these things being transformed into nourishment, into tissues, consciousness, your experiences? Something that Vedic wisdom teaches us is that everything we take in must be digested, not just the food you put in your mouth, but everything that you take in through your senses, through your mind, through your heart. All of it is input and it all must be digested. And it's all the same energetic capacity that is digesting it. So we have this kind of central digestive, transformative fire within ourselves that is solely responsible for digestion and digestion on all levels. A gross level, meaning, the tangible food that we put in our mouth, and then also a very subtle level, so that those energetic qualities, those interactions with other people, those emotions, those subtle things that we can't see but more feel, right? So this spectrum of the most subtle inputs that must be digested to the most gross inputs that must be digested. It all relies upon this central fire called Agni. So nourishing ourselves is nourishing Agni. And when Agni is appropriately strong, we are able to transform all of these inputs into usable substances that really nourish us. So all of these things that we take in must be digested. The conversations you have, the media you scroll, the energy of the spaces you're in, the pace at which you live, the food that's on your plate, the smells, the sights, the sounds, the textures, everything. What we consume becomes who we are, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Life is one long meal. Everything that we take in becomes the raw material for our inner landscape, which then becomes our outer experience of life. And the quality of our digestive capacity, or Agni, determines whether that raw material becomes wisdom or toxicity. So when you're feeling depleted in life, chances are you're not digesting well on any level. So I think I've made it pretty clear that I'm inviting this perspective shift that nourishment isn't just about food. It's really a way of being, a way of tending to your entire system, body, mind, and spirit every single day. It's not just what you eat in life, it's how you eat. It's how you breathe, how you sleep, how you move, how you relate to your own thoughts and emotions each day. And, for a long time, I didn't know this. I didn't know this. Like many of us, I thought food was the problem and also the solution. So I was super hyper focused on it. And I tried all the plans, all the things. Oh my goodness gracious. The elimination diets, the resets, the juice cleanses. I counted, I tracked, I restricted, I forced. I micromanaged my meals, thinking if I could just get it right, everything else would fall into place and I would feel better. And really looking back, I have a lot of compassion for that version of myself who was stuck in that thinking because it's what she was taught. It's what we're conditioned for in our culture. We aren't taught and shown the connection between our inner world and our outer world, our inner world and the experiences that we have in life and our health. And how, when there is unprocessed, undigested life inside of our psyches, inside of our subtle realms, of course, we're going to feel depleted, unwell, and experience so many health problems. So, of course, no matter what I did, I still felt off. I was tired and anxious, foggy, unclear, disconnected, and hungry, you know? Sure, probably because I was not nourishing myself physically well enough, but hungry for like something real and deeper that I couldn't name. I'm curious if you've ever felt like that too. And so eventually I realized that food wasn't the root of the problem and it wasn't going to be the solution either, at least not by itself. Because what I was really missing was connection with myself, with nature, with something greater and more real, with what I have come to call my inner spark. And ultimately, what was missing was a connection with rhythm, consistency, simplicity, and sustainability. And looking at myself as this multidimensional whole being creature that exists on that spectrum of subtle to gross, like I was speaking about earlier, that I'm a being that is in a physical body. And so, yes, I have physical needs like food. And I also am a being that has these very subtle, intangible, abstract realms like my thoughts, my emotions, my life experiences. And those are the pieces that were not being tended. And the pain and experiences that were there stuck. I like to say kind of like this energetic constipation, if you will, this kind of backlog of stuff was driving this desire for something different. And because I didn't know what to do, of course, I hyper focused on the physical because it's something that felt safer. We can see it, we can touch it. We're taught to focus on it only. Don't go into the scary, emotional, mental places because you'll make yourself and others uncomfortable and da da da. And so there's this kind of overcompensation for a lot of us on the physical and thinking that nourishment is going to come from that. If I can just get it right, if I can find that perfect diet, then we get a little like frenetic and neurotic with it all. But all the while, what's happening inside is this crying out for being with those hurt parts of ourselves. That's how we are going to find nourishment. And again, I was not in a place that was stable enough to recognize that. And even if I was able to recognize that, I certainly didn't have the stability to go there. And so the first thing that we all need is that sense of stability. So gently reacquainting ourselves with ourselves. And that's what I mean by connection. So what was really missing was connection. We get to come back inside, come home to ourselves, and reconnect, reestablish that foundation, that sense of stability. And then true healing and true digestion on all levels can take place. And when the digestion is taking place, the healing gets to take place. It is through digesting that nourishment comes. The deep, subtle to gross digestion that then allows the nourishment to be assimilated. The human physical digestive system is fascinating, utterly fascinating. The way that we are able to break down food into its constituent pieces and take the nutrients and the things that we need and then let go of the rest is just remarkable. And so that is a physical, gross, tangible representation of what needs to happen on the subtle levels as well. Not sitting there and holding on to experiences, but taking what we need, letting it transform and letting it go. Letting what is no longer necessary go. There were many parts of myself that were stuck back, with my like 6-year-old self. Not helpful. And again, didn't know that, couldn't name it, couldn't be with it, certainly didn't have the stability. And when I reference stability, that is what I am calling our foundation. And so establishing that foundation is the way to nourishment. And we're going to move into that now. So the rhythm of real daily whole being nourishment comes when we are gently and consistently meeting these five core needs every day. So through the principles of Ayurveda, through aligning with the wisdom and rhythms of nature, and through lived experience, I've come to understand that we all have these five core daily needs. And if we want to feel well and we want to support this lifelong, sustainable sense of resilience and vitality and joy and deep soul nourishment, being truly nourished on all the levels from subtle to gross, inside and out, meeting these five needs daily is the way to do that. This is how we stabilize ourselves. This is how we set the foundation. This is how we ultimately change our lives and heal very deeply. Because without that stability, we can't go in and do the deeper work. We can't go in and recognize, like, right, this health issue that I'm experiencing isn't because I'm not getting it right enough with what's on my plate or doing it right enough or because my body hates me. It's actually because there's some deep, subtle parts of myself that are still holding on in that energetic constipation state, if you will. There's some inner cleanup I need to do. And without that sense of stability, and when we're living in this kind of frenetic, chaotic place without a rhythm, without meeting these five core needs, these five foundational self care needs, we're not going to get to a place where we can see that. And so we gradually we stabilize ourselves. We get to the place where we can see, this is what's happening, seeing reality for what it is. And then again, it builds, it compounds that sense of stability so we can go in and actually feel and be with it. And then just magic happens. It's phenomenal. So these five foundational daily self-care needs, they're so simple. And yet, for so many of us, we weren't taught them, we weren't shown them. Our culture certainly doesn't model this. And so we've lost touch with these five simple things. Like, they're free, they're things that we need to do. And yet, most of us are skipping them, or we're not doing them in a rhythmic way. We're just kind of living in a perpetual state of go mode or survival mode, a state of chaos. And again, no shame, no blame. This is the way that things are for so many of us. And we have got the power to slowly and gently shift that from within ourselves. And that's so empowering and so healing. And that ripples out to everything and everyone. So the first way to nourish yourself is, of course, food. Regular whole food meals every day. Food becomes your tissues, it becomes you. It is not the macros and the calories and the proteins and the carbs. It's about when you eat and how you eat and the energy that you bring to your meals. All the ways that we have come to isolate and slice and dice and analyze it takes out the true meaning of it. I mean, my goodness, the bodies that we're in are freaking awesome. They're miraculous. They're gifts. I don't know how any of this is here, where it came from, how we got here, but we're here and it's amazing. And so food is our way of nourishing that and connecting with everything that is. It is truly a sacred act. And so while the science of food, the micros and the macros and the things is interesting, very interesting. And in fact, I've got a master's degree in integrative health and holistic nutrition. So I know all more than I ever wanted to know. And it's fascinating. However, this compartmentalized, very segmented, dissected way of viewing things is missing some very key components about food. Food is nature, and you are nature. And food, like nature, has qualities that are way more important to be aware of than its calories or macros. So, qualities, also referred to as the Gurvadi gunas in the Vedas, are things like, is it heavy or light? Is it cooling or heating? Is it rough or smooth? And so those are the things that are actually impacting your physiology. It's the qualities, which also include the tastes. There are 6 tastes of food. So these qualities and tastes are the things that are actually impacting your physiology, not the how many carbohydrates or grams of protein or calories it contains. Those are new things that have only been around, for the last 100, 200 years that we've been kind of tracking these things. And nature is timeless. So, which one, which one may actually be a little more reliable? So, real natural whole food is simple, and our body, mind, energy systems know what to do with it. The second daily need is intentional breath. So, the most direct way of nourishing your nervous system is breathing. Is your breath shallow, rushed, disconnected? Or is it slow, intentional, and present? Most of us don't breathe very deeply, or we are stuck in patterns of reverse breathing where we our bellies extend on the exhale. So just noticing, what is your breath doing, and being with it with curiosity and compassion. Really let yourself feast upon the life force energy or prana that is available to you through the breath. And then let yourself connect with your inner spark, that steady, peaceful place within yourself. Pranayama, the various practices of intentional, controlled breathing techniques, is something that everyone may benefit from practicing on a daily basis for whole being nourishment, a set that is appropriate for them and their current needs is something everyone can benefit from. The third way to nourish yourself each day is deep rest. Are you honoring your need for rest before you're depleted, or only when your body forces you to stop? And the truth is, most folks simply aren't sleeping well, and or they aren't sleeping enough these days. There might be a screen in their face right up until they close their eyes at night, and then one right back in their face as soon as they open them again in the morning. And the overstimulation of the nervous system with these practices is really quite damaging. And it's difficult for us to unwind thoroughly because we're so keyed up, especially if we're doing caffeine, even early in the morning, like it's still in there. If we're doing the caffeine and the screens and the maybe living a faster paced life, trying to cram a lot in, all of these things tax the nervous system and make it very difficult to unwind thoroughly. So even when you may be in bed and asleep, you're not actually sleeping and restoring deeply because your system is spending so much time trying to just come down. So trying to come down and then go into deep rest. Additionally, rest isn't just for when you are sleeping. It's a way of being. It's a more sustainable, gentle pace in life. It's taking micro breaks throughout the day. It's turning off the television, shutting the laptop, putting the phone on do not disturb mode. It's allowing yourself to pause and remember your innate sense of being. The fourth way to nourish yourself each day is with movement. Movement is digestion. Movement is circulation. It is life. It is celebration. So are you moving your body in ways that nourish your energy or deplete it? And most of us these days are typically on one end of an extreme. We're either moving way too much with inappropriate exercise and going too hard too often, or we're just totally sedentary. Most of us view exercise as something that we have to do or something we do when we're on a good kick. I know that was me for so long. I would go through these phases of, oh, I'm all in, I'm being so good, my diet is buttoned up, I'm hitting the gym every single day, and then it would just kind of pendulum swing the other way, and I was just like, who cares, whatever, not moving at all, and putting anything and everything in my mouth. Both are unsustainable and really quite harmful to our systems. Appropriate movement is not done to try to manipulate our body shape or punish ourselves. Appropriate movement done daily feeds the body. It keeps the body supple, mobile, strong, resilient. It offers us a way to move energy, to digest on every level. Ayurveda offers guidelines for how movement should be in order for it to be nourishing. And most importantly, of these guidelines is that it should leave you feeling better and more energized when you're done. So the idea is sustainability and longevity, not punishment, pushing, or forcing. It's something to prepare you for the day ahead, to support you to do the things that you want to do in life for as long as possible. And finally, the fifth way to really nourish yourself each day and set this foundation for stability is self-reflection and energy management. So taking those times each day for being with your inner world. Are you processing your emotions and experiences, or just kind of absorbing them and holding them and moving on? This level of subtle digestion is the key to inner harmony and health and healing. Disease really does begin in the mind with outdated thoughts, beliefs, unprocessed experiences, and these things shape our realities because they shape the ways that we treat ourselves and the ways that we view the world. And with this backlog of unprocessed experiences, and when we're not taking the time to be with our inner world and take that time for self-reflection and managing our energy, a real disconnection results. Maybe a sense of being stuck and powerless and unable to perceive ourselves and reality as it truly is. And without that ability, we cannot make meaningful changes. So knowing ourselves and what's happening for us inside is crucial. And pausing each day and intentionally, compassionately, and curiously inquiring about what's happening for you is life-changing. So these 5 things are not just good habits. These aren't little luxuries. These aren't things to like, oh, maybe one day I'll start doing that. These truly are daily non-negotiables for a regulated, resilient, well human being. They're so simple. They are things that we need to, must do, and are meant to do. And when these 5 needs are tended to in alignment with the rhythms of nature, you create that foundation of stability and clarity and true whole being nourishment. We are shaped by what we do each day, what we think, what we feel, what we consume, and then by our ability to transform those inputs into vitality, clarity, consciousness, wisdom, and presence. Everything that we experience, everything we take in, it all matters. This is that dance of the subtle and the gross. Food becomes blood, muscle, nerve tissues, and also thought and consciousness. And remember, everything is food. Anything we take in is food. And it's either nourishing or depleting. And so remembering that the subtle is born from the gross, and our lived reality is shaped by what we receive and how we process it moment to moment in this true dance. And that's where rhythm really comes in. When we have rhythms for these five needs, for eating, for sleeping, for moving, for processing life, we actually give our systems the space and support they need to digest. So no rhythm equals no digestion. No digestion equals no nourishment. And without no nourishment, what's proper English, there's no capacity to show up fully. There's no clarity, no resilience, no joy. And life stays in that sense of hyper vigilant survival, chaos, frantic mode. I was there for so long, and we don't have to stay there. So, cause and effect is always at play. If we want different results, more clarity, energy, joy, we must begin with different inputs. And rhythm gives us that power. It gives us a way to consciously shape our inner state by shaping what we receive, how we receive it, and then what we do with it, how we digest and assimilate it and release the waste that we don't need anymore. This is about relationship and connection with yourself. It's not about rigidity or perfection. It is coming home to yourself, to the unique needs of your system, and collaborating with the wise natural forces within and around us and not working against them, which is robbing us of so much energy. Everything that's natural has a rhythm and a season, and building simple, nourishing rhythms help you feel safe, clear, and connected. And that is where that real root healing is possible. Because from there, your body can relax, your whole system can rest. And that's where the digestion comes, and that's where the healing comes, and the regulation and the softening, all of it. Your perception begins to shift. You start to see beauty where you once only saw dis-ease and exhaustion, and you see possibility where there was once only pressure. You start to see the ways that you've been tricking yourself and where nourishment has been blocked. So nourishment isn't just fuel, what's on your plate. It's the foundation of how you live, how you see, feel, and experience life. It's how you care for your whole being, how you honor the wisdom of rhythm in your daily life. And to be fully nourished requires that we get real with ourselves, reconnect with what's natural and what matters, and shine a light on our true unmet needs and have the courage to then meet them. So I invite you to keep taking steps in the direction of nourishment and trust that that is more than enough. Let them compound. And maybe spend some moments in quiet reflection today, asking yourself, what does nourishment mean to me beyond food? Where in my life do I feel truly nourished? Where do I feel depleted? Am I outsourcing nourishment from within? Oh, I'm sorry. No. Am I sourcing nourishment from within or outsourcing it to quick fixes? And what's one small rhythm I may commit to today to nourish myself more deeply?